On Friday, I met with our engineers from RPA and Mako Excavating, yeah. And we're going to be beginning the street project up starting on Monday. They're going to start moving their materials down and hoping to begin work on Tuesday.
Oh, they started.
It's already.
Oh my God, it's this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a week off already. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Friday, yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, they started today, yeah. So on Friday, I signed that motion to proceed for them to start that. Do we need to talk about the 5 areas that we're going to be requesting a change of order for? Yes?
Sure.
Okay, I left a copy out for you.
Right here.
So, Eric and Chris have stated that there are a few new sections that needed 5 additional locations that need asphalt removed and paved.
Mm-hmm.
Those 5 areas would be east of the grocery store, would be at 8 by 36. 408 South Cedar would be an 8 by 10. South Cedar and G Street would be 12 by 10. 411 South Walnut would be 10 by 36. And 206 South Oak 30 by 10.
Thank you.
Yes, and I do believe that they should be providing us a bid for that.
Cause that's the problem, we gotta see the cost estimate of what they're gonna charge for that.
Right.
That's the thing up in the air. If it comes out outrageously high, we can downgrade some of them. Cause the hold, I would highly suggest that we do the ones by the grocery store. Just due to the fact that well, like you said the other day in council meeting, that hole's getting bad. You know, so we gotta get that fixed. But
Then it is possible we'll see change orders coming through and would need to take a look at the time, perhaps the timing of the work. If it's done this fiscal year or if it's done out of next year's budget.
Okay.
Yes,
Is that in addition to what we've already budgeted for the paving of all the bound replacements and all that? This is above and beyond?
these are the street, this is the street project,
Right.
not repairs that are necessary because of the water project.
Okay, I guess I didn't.
Streets and alleys, so the chip sealing, although that's.
Whole different
Yes,
animal.
And they're just, I missed it, just taking the asphalt off, not digging out the
they're
road.
not digging up, cause it.
Are they putting a Band-Aid on something?
Well, yes. I won't lie, I will
No,
not.
no, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, those patches are truly Band-Aids. I feel fairly confident putting the Band-Aids on because of how the rest of the street around those spots are holding up. But after seeing them dig out, the section of the very end of North Maple or it goes out to the end of the county line, that was nothing but clay. No wonder that street was failing right
Yeah,
there.
they're not hurting anything.
There was nothing there, nothing there. I was shocked.
Hold water year round.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why that section of the street failed on us. Those other sections that were mentioned, yes, it is a Band-Aid, but those holes that are coming there aren't gonna be bad. The one that's gonna be the worst on us, if we have to delay it, is gonna be the South Oak one. So, cause that pothole's getting very bad right there, so, yeah.
Yes, maybe.
What's the consequence if we pull the asphalt up and discover that the Band-Aid won't be enough?
You either put the Band-Aid on and you just go for it.
And hope like crazy?
Hope for the best.
Hope this gap.
Well, cause they have to do a whole engineering thing there and tear everything more down.
Yeah, exactly, and you're right, you know, so, yeah. I wish I could say that, you know, but, well, and I guess a good way to look at this is we could take the price estimate of the dig out streets that we're doing now, and maybe we wanna do something different, but, as far as budgeting, I would like to see us do another big chip seal, next year and stick with that cause I know Timmy's biggest thing was always protect the good, and I'm starting to see why. We gotta protect our good streets that we got, and maybe going over the top of these patches with the chip seal in the 2026 budget would help save them streets, so, yeah. I really wish I had a better answer.
No, you answered it, I mean, it's a Band-Aid, I just didn't know if it was like water coming up through there.
There's no water coming up through there or anything else, there's not. No, but it's a true Band-Aid.
Do we know how long that asphalt's been there?
Great, that is a great question. The one that is on, South Walnut, that would be an original street, so that would have been done way back in the 70s, I believe. So that one's old. The one that would be on the end of South Cedar that was mentioned, that one, would be a newer one, but it's kinda got a weird, the ground settled a little weird there, so it lost its curve, and so it settled, and the water got in, so that's why it alligated there. The other one that's on South Oak that was mentioned, that's actually, where I had to go into the street and supply 2 water services for a deal, so that's why that one's on there, getting, just so that it'll be done with the project. Where's my other one? Oh, the other one is actually at the intersection of South Oak and Broadway where those are failing there. Part of the chip seal project, so we can fix those spots and then go over the top of it with the chip seal and go there. I believe that's all 5 of them that are mentioned. Well, and then of course Bob's is the other one, so, yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
Is there one quick question, Mayor, if I may? Is there,
Hold
what's the,
Hold on. Mr. Rawls, beat you to it.
I have a concern about whether this is a street project or a water project, but right now, I'm wondering, is the Montana DOT can get involved in with the paving part of fixing our streets, or whether the government can get involved? But my concern right now is that the gravel that was used to cover those projects of water, the gravel is getting spread out all over the road now, and out here in Main Street, which now will allow them to become projectiles, where somebody driving in one of those rocks hits the windshield, or the tires are caused to flake off and hit somebody riding a bike, or even somebody walking along the sidewalk and get hit by one of those. So is there any way we can get that part cleaned up a little bit?
Do you have
Because
an
it's not
answer for
just
that?
one road, it's, crossroads, there's several of them, all the way through town.
Will there be any sweeping done?
When the project's done, the sweepings will be done. Talked to the state highway guy today, ironically. So as soon as we get these done with the paving crew for the water project being in town, it's gonna get addressed. And I mean, it's getting addressed, as we speak. I don't know how many people have noticed, but the holes are getting done now, so, yeah.
Again,
So the loose
asphalt.
gravel will be cleaned up? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. You bet. Doug, your turn.
going back to the Band-Aid fix, it's not part of the water street project. What's the right way to do it?
Oh, go to the end of North Maple, look at that, that's the right way. 2 foot dig out, bring it back up with gravel to the top, 2 inches of asphalt over the top.
Is it considerably more money, I'm
Oh,
guessing?
boy.
Because if we have to just turn around and fix it again down the road, we're stepping over the dollar, saving time.
Correct, but those spots where those holes are, if you look at the rest of the street in a whole, it's fairly good. So if we could fix those spots and then potentially do chips over the top. And I mean, believe me, I hear you, because I wish I could look at you and say that, yeah, the ground's underneath, that's okay, it's just that spot had a dip in the water, and then that's why it alligated. I wish I could say it was just spot specific, but I
I think you
can't.
probably get maybe 20 years,
What's that?
10 years, 20 years, who knows?
I bet you we could get 10 years out of
Yeah,
it,
it's
easy.
strong, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so.
There we go.
Thank you.
We're good.
Andy, do you have
Also with the
something?
update, yeah, I just wanted to point out that one of the topics that both Eric and I addressed was the notification of the businesses in the alley would be getting deliveries, and that they were given notice when the alley was gonna be being worked on so that they could make other arrangements for their deliveries. So that was addressed at this meeting.
Thank you.
No problem.
Carrie, did you want to address the budget amendments item?
I can. It looks like we will need a budget amendment for ARPA fund, our sewer fund, and our fire protection fund. There's enough appropriation in the capital water fund to move to the ARPA fund. But the other ones will need a full budget amendment.
Okay, so we're, tonight just giving you notice that we will be preparing some budget amendments. When Carrie and I forget to do something, we like to do it really well. During our budgeting process last year, we collectively forgot to include debt service payments on the sewer lagoon, the bonds there, so, that will be in there. It is kind of important, and the ARPA amendment has to do, with where we were anticipating the resources coming from for the water project. And as you recall, we've addressed fire protection expenditures a few times during this year, and they've got an outstanding bill that some of their expenses have just come in higher this year than we had thought, so we need to take care of all of that. So we'll have those amendments prepared to move forward to the next meeting. Is there a motion to approve the April claims?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the April 2025 claims.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the April 2025 claims. Sorry?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I was asking about
Any-
budget.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Deb.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Okay. I apologize, council, I was supposed to get the two, the fireworks ordinance drafts to you, so that's still on my to-do list. Get that done, and that will give you an opportunity to decide how to move forward with that. Is there an update on the general ordinance review?
It's slowly etching along.
Okay. Events committee, ordinances?
We had a meeting with the folks from the farmer's market, to gain some input, on the aspect of the farmer's market. I think it was a really good meeting, and I think we just need to have another meeting, JB, and we should be able to get it finalized, I think, at this point,
Yeah, we should.
to be able to bring it to council, so.
Great. Telecommunications franchise, is that still generally on hold?
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to get a hold of
Okay.
Peter to get that information.
Okay,
With that meeting though that we had, we did have an interesting discussion about some of the stuff that's in the ground. And that, I mean, there's people who don't even know whose is what or what is his.
And there's lines that are buried in concrete in the alley, and they don't even know how deep they are,
okay.
or who they belong to, because they've been there for so long.
Going back to the
that-
previous subject.
Telecommunications,
Oh, is it telecommunications you're
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Actual concrete?
yeah,
Yep.
I think his name was Colin.
Yeah, it was Colin. Yep,
Colin,
it was
yeah,
Colin.
stated that he had to do some investigating for the, alley work behind the mint, that they're getting ready to start, to find out what was buried in the alley, and it took him a long while, and he was frustrated, because, he would go to people who had stuff in there, but they either wouldn't, one, claim it, or two, wasn't aware that it was even there. But that, yeah, there's some cables, fiber optic cable, I think, that's buried in concrete.
Fiber?
Yep,
That's what he said.
that's what he said, yep.
Fiber.
Did we, fiber optics,
No, I don't know.
but wasn't it Black, what was her name?
I don't think it's Blackfoot.
This was before Blackfoot,
This
this
was
was
before.
supposedly CenturyLink, but
Right.
CenturyLink's not claiming it
I
was
had
first.
no idea that anybody had even thought about it.
Yeah, it just kind of,
Good for you.
to me, it made it more important that we actually get moving on this
Yes,
topic,
yes.
because there's so much that's there that we're not even aware of, and I can't imagine what happens if they need to get into that cable, and what, they're just gonna start breaking concrete, I mean,
It's a great time to be on council,
I
isn't
am
it?
telling you.
Okay, there's no further update yet on garbage cans on Broadway, I guess just garbage cans in, yeah, oh, Eric, sorry.
With that though, just to make council aware, I had to purchase up to 5 new cans to replace for the cans up and down Broadway, just from winter, so just, they were busted and everything else, just to make you guys aware of, yes, they're there, but
Same
it's,
size? Everything's-
it was the same,
Okay.
yeah. But I just wanted to take the second to,
Appreciate that.
yeah.
Garbage in general, some of our residents continue to have concerns about how rapidly the cans in their general vicinity fill up. We did have a resident in here, I think it was yesterday afternoon, who told us that he has observed people showing up after dark to dump stuff in the cans near him, which is frustrating.
Do we think that's out of city people?
That would be probably my first inclination, that just as the county's solid waste operation is under review, and the county has similar challenges to us in terms of the garbage pickup. It's an enterprise fund, it needs to operate somewhat as a business, and we have some residents in the county who just do not think they should have to pay those fees. So I think yes? Yes?
Yeah, my alley, we have, I think, 4 down our alley, but mine, they always empty on Tuesdays. And by Thursday, mine is overheaped, falling out everywhere. And then you walk down to the next one, totally empty. To the next one, totally empty. So I'm not understanding why the one is heaped and the next one's totally empty and totally empty. So I'm not understanding, and when Tim was.
It must be too far to walk.
Too far.
But they're not that far to walk. But I mean, when Tim was, and he tried to figure it out too, when Tim was doing this, so I don't understand that. But I have seen trucks drive through that alley, and I don't know if they do it because that's the last one before you hit the road. But if you go the other way, it would be down by Sandy Boer's house,
Okay.
on the other end of the alley. So I'm not sure if that's it. I don't know, cause I don't stay up till
If
1 in the morning.
if anybody has a brilliant idea to help us,
I do have a ring camera, but it doesn't face that way, so I don't know. But it just seems like Tuesday to Thursday is pretty fast, really fast, you know, to go where it's heaping up, you know. It's only 2 days.
You're first, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it might be too practical, but perhaps we could, in the garbage communication, bill, say, if your can is full, please walk down a little ways and check on the other one.
sure, we'll give that a try.
I don't know,
I'm sure
Mayor.
that would go well.
Tim put a sign on mine, it didn't.
That is the
Did you put a sign on yours?
Then they
Didn't
sat
help.
it on the ground. Well, then
Yes.
guess what, dogs get into that, so.
Right, we have some challenges right now, and as I said, I actually am serious. If anybody has some ideas to offer about how we might educate and redirect some of this, that would be great. Short of, I don't know, tripling or quadrupling the garbage fee, that'll get us out of office. Yes, Dave?
Maybe, I mean, kidding, not kidding, maybe we don't tell them when we're picking up the garbage, so they're not already waiting for the truck to go by to dump everything in the dumpster. See, we don't know what day we're gonna do it.
That's right.
So
It's
switching
Saturday.
it up.
Signs on there that says, these cans are under surveillance.
Yeah, that,
Whether they are or not,
Question there.
Yes.
tell people to
The-
risk.
Can you remind me what the because the only practical way to stop the people coming in from out of town is to make it so inconvenient. In other words, they're coming in because we have great big monster cans. Trivial, I think it's no big deal. What's the cost, then the impact of shifting to individual residential cans?
The biggest thing that's gonna hurt us is the man hours.
yeah.
I don't know that I would almost have to have one person dedicated for 4 days to just pick up trash. So, I mean, it's doable, but I mean, man alive, I'd almost lose a person for the week.
Somewhere down the road, we're gonna end up having to explain this to the public, and that's gonna require this kind of information. It's like we can stop these problems from occurring more or less,
Right.
but the cost to you is going to be this.
Almost a dedicated garbage man.
Bring it to the curb.
Yeah, and then every person have to take care too.
Liz?
I'm not raising my hand to be the garbage person.
Oh, son of a gun.
What about game cams or something like that, just to get some information on who might be doing it, if it's a local, if it's within the city limits, they're allowed, right? Regardless of which garbage can. But if they're from the county or outside the city limits, then it would be nice to know where they're coming from, so that might be an idea, just even personally to.
Well, I asked Tim too, could you put 2 cans there since it heated up so fast, he goes, you couldn't. He said you couldn't put 2 cans there, cause there's not, that's just not how they do it, and so it's great big cans, those great huge ones, yeah. Cause some houses have the ones they wheel out themselves, like the house has their own, that's not how the alley is, you have these huge ones, their house shares them, yeah. And then some houses in my area don't take them to there, they just stack them in their yards, their, garbage. And the house across from me, a guy got mad because he walked by and the dogs were going all over it, and he was yelling at the people, telling them they were gonna get fined. Cause he was going to call the cops, well then the guy threw him in the back of his truck, and maybe he went to the dump, cause it was all gone then.
Do we have an ordinance, Mayor, that we can prosecute people if we catch out-of-county, out-of-city people dumping in the area, dumping in the city?
I would have to double check on that. It doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't for me either.
And part of it is, yes, they're for household garbage, city residents pay the fees for that. They're still on public streets, and, I think some of our biggest challenges is the amount of non-household garbage that gets put into those cans. You know, what goes into those cans is supposed to be bagged. So no cardboard boxes, even if they're broken down. Those cause some issues for the garbage truck, they don't always, I'm not sure what part of the truck I'm talking about, but basically the smasher, the packer, can get hung up there, and we've had things like engines and transmissions,
Deer carcasses.
deer carcasses,
You've seen it all,
fish
huh?
carcasses, yeah.
You could go on and on and on.
Yeah, copy machines or printers, that, get put in there, and those not only can damage the truck, if they hit just right, they can damage our people, and then we're outstaffed too, and that generates workers' comp claims, which means those premiums go up, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of folks just don't understand how all of those pieces and parts come into play that impact the tax burden that they have to fund local governments.
Well, they go in our garbage cans, but they won't take them in the canisters. So they're like, well, let's throw it in the alley. She laughed, right? We're good.
She left.
All I'm going to say is, remember when I said the county's challenges in funding their solid waste program, because it's not that the county the canister site might not take them, but there is a provision to the transfer station to properly dispose of your garbage. We, I guess, just don't like to be inconvenienced, and that's causing some of the issues. And we could talk about this all night. Their sewer ordinance is also on hold until we get to that point. Any public comment at this point in time? I appreciate your involvement in the meeting tonight, this is marvelous. I just want to extend my thanks to Angie for covering for me while I was out of state last week. My nephew graduated from Embry-Riddle University with a degree in aeronautics engineering. He also was commissioned into the Air Force as a second lieutenant and is stationed initially in Vandenberg for about 6 months, after which he will go see the world, meaning either Maelstrom or the base in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
The world.
He's a missileer. He's a missileer. So anyway, thank you for doing that. Nate, do you have anything tonight?
No.
Okay.
I do. Eric, are you aware that the light over the tennis court is on nonstop 24/7?
And it's got a photo cell on it, so it'll turn off. So the tennis people asked that it be turned on, cause they had some night games and that come on.
Okay.
So I contacted Northwestern Energy, it does turn on, and then you're right, though, it stays on all night, and then goes from there, so.
Yeah, it's been on every night for the past 2 weeks that I went to work at the bakery, so, okay. I just didn't know, cause it's pointed in a really odd direction, and I would imagine that the Joe knows where the urges are.
It's his first period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do we know how long they want those lights on? As some night games tells me that there's a potential end, there's night matches.
So the interesting thing with that is if we ask Northwestern to turn it off, it will be removed.
Light.
Yeah, the light will be removed. So anyway, there's not something that they wanna turn on and off. There's either gonna be a light that runs continuously, or it's gonna be removed from them, so.
Okay.
yeah, it's bright.
Okay, thank you.
Liz, you might wanna think about lighting your tennis courts.
That's just another 25, 30 grand.
Sorry.
That's all I have.
Or, thank you, or maybe we can get, eventually move something that is redirected, that's more down onto the courts.
In all honesty, that could be something we could shift some money toward putting that in the agenda.
Yeah, cause it's just pointing straight out, it's not even pointed like in a direction, it's just like really kinda angled. I don't know if anybody knows, but it's like right at the Jono's barn in their backyard, and they're in the driveway, it's kind of the direction that it's pointed.
Thanks. JD, do you have anything tonight?
I've had a couple of people ask me about the growing mountain of dirt at the fairgrounds and whether or not it was part of the water project. Do we know what that mountain is?
It's not the fairgrounds, it's the airport.
It's the airport,
Yeah.
and it's not the water project? Do we know what it's for?
They're reconstructing the runway at the airport.
Ah.
The project is due to
Okay.
begin, May 17th.
Everything.
They're re-asphalting it and I think extending it, plus the mound that you see is gonna be a spot for additional hangar space, is my understanding.
Thank you.
Very good. Have anything tonight? Okay. Doug?
Good.
Okay. Carrie, do you have anything further tonight?
I do not.
Eric, do you have anything further tonight?
I do not.
Okay, just as a reminder, our next budget meeting is May 20th at 5:30.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Are we taking pictures of the water project at all? For prosperity?
Stages?
Stages, like any kind of pictures?
Am I taking some?
Anybody, I mean, I'll go take up if we need to, I just thought, gosh, this is like Townsend history that's happening right now. with
No,
those
there's a bunch that are being taken.
Okay,
Yep.
I just was
Engineer
driving
out
past there
Yeah,
and
the
didn't.
engineer's taking some, I took some the other day of the basin that,
Kinda, yeah, the process.
yep, I find it really fascinating, that whole thing going up, I do, so yeah.
Yeah, I was on my way out to the airport and seen that as well, and I thought, wow, we should be taking pictures of this.
I took some when they poured that first big pour at the
Yeah.
tank.
Okay, what do you wanna do now?
Nate.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Please.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried, thank you all very much for taking time to be here.
Know where it was. Where things sits, where they are. Make it a little easier, you might make a little bit to one side, and then it wasn't there.